So let's talk about generics. Generic class or generic method allow the developer to create a single method or class that will take care of set of related data types instead of creating a new method or class that handles each data type separately that will lead to duplicate code. Note that generic type parameters can be only reference types, not primitive types. Don't be worried, we will talk about everything in the example below. Now, generics have three major benefits. First, they will give us a type safety. Type safety means that method will accept only one data type. Any other data type we try to insert the function or send it to class will not be accepted. Most of the IDEs will notify us about this problem. Second thing, they will give us a compile time checking. The type checking and related exceptions will be at a compile time. That means when we build our project and not at runtime. When we release our project and got the program crash at production. And also we don't need a casting inside generic class or generic method anymore. In this example I created two objects and three arrays with a different data types, vehicle, integer and string. Now our goal is to iterate over the arrays and print them. So how are we gonna do it? For start, let's do it without the generics and see what problems we need to handle. Now let's create the class in objects, new Java class, and call it print to screen. By the way, that's a long name, but everything is good. Now let's close this. Now let's create our first field, private type list that receive. Let's start with the strings lamps list, new array list. Now we will create functions that add one element, add all elements, and receive the elements. And finally we wrote the method that print all the elements to screen. Let's start. Public void add element that receive element of type string lm and will add it to the element lists. Let's copy an lm list, add lm. Now we will write the public void add all lms that will receive string array. Collections, we will use the collections interface here that will add all collections, my bad. Let's add it, import class, add all, and we will add all the error, all the array. Now when we use the add all, we need to specify which array we are wanting add the elements. In our case it's the lms list, like that, and that's all. Now we will get the element, wrote the get element method, public, we will return a string element, get element, in the integer will receive int index elements dot get and pass it the index that we want to return, and don't forget the return. That's all. Now we want to print to screen the elements inside the element list. Public void print all that's all. And we'll use a for in haste for loop of type string str in element list. In every str we will print it system out out dot println, and we'll print str. That's all for this method, but I hope you can see what is the problem here. We are heavily depending on the string type. What will happen when we want to pass and store an integers or doubles or objects? Let's see. First thing first, I want to fix the misspelling here. Elements, let's typo, rename it, tick, and also over here, typos are not nice things. Then delete that. That's not necessary anymore. Now let's go our main class and start use our print to screen bedway Java class that we created. Now let's create instance of this class. Print to screen in bedway, printer bedway. That's a much shorter name. New printer the screen in bedway. Let's print first the strings. Print bedway, add all elements and pass it this array. So far so good, no exceptions at all. Now let's print them. Print bedway, print all elements. Let's see what happens now. So that worked, but do you understand that for every data type, every different data type, we need another class like that? We will need to create all this class again and again with another data type. That's not a good solution. That will make us a duplicate code, and we will have a hard time to maintain this code. A one change will be separated to many classes. That's not good. So we can do it another bad way. In another bad way, we can pass it an objects type. Let's do it. Object, and we will change every type here to object. Let's see what happens now. Go to main method and pass the integer. Let's run it. That worked. Let's pass the vehicles. That works too. It seems that this solution is pretty much the good solution, but in this approach we have a major problem. Let me show you. Let's go to our main object, main function, and change one of the types here, one of the elements here, to another type. Let's make it a string. It will not work anymore. Let's run it, and the exceptions are started to show up. Even if I add the elements one by one, it will be the same problem. Let me show you. Add element 1 and the second one. It's still not work, as you can see. Now let's implement the generics solution, and let's refactor our print to screen in bedway to the generic solution. Let's close this first. Let's refactor the name, refactor, rename. Let's get rid of the bedway in the name. Now we need to specify which type this class will receive, and we will make it a generic type. Every place in our class. Here, 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 and also here. Let's see what happens now. Let's go out to main class. Now our print to screen class needs to get the data type that he will support. Let's make it now first integers, and if you can see, now we will show us required type integer. You provided me a string type. Let's get rid of this for now, and for simplicity use the add all elements. And also here let's make it, and now let's check if it works. Ta-da! It works. Now let's pass it the string array, let it string type, and run the program. Ta-da! It works. Let's pass it now the vehicles. Let's make it a vehicle type and pass it the vehicle array, run the program, and ta-da! It works too. So when you need to handle scenario like this, always prefer to create a generic class. It saves you a duplication code, a runtime errors, a castings, and much more problems in the production.